Let's bring you one of the big stories of this weekend. The ANC's Mpumalanga elective conference is wrapping up with an address from President Cyril Ramaphosa later on today. One of the most significant outcomes is the election of murder-accused Mandla Msibi as the new provincial treasurer. Now, it's not clear whether he will be asked to step aside. And then we've got our senior reporter, Siphamandla Goge, who's following that conference and joins us now to give us some updates around the conclusion of that conference. You've just heard in my intro, we are expecting the president to make his address. The overall feeling in terms of the direction that the election process at the conference went in, Siphamandla.
Indeed, before I answer that question, allow me to bring you up to speed and tell you that ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa has arrived. My colleague Ndabambe will show you a tent there. That is his holding room. He is inside there. He is set to address and close this Mpumalanga provincial conference of the governing African National Congress. Yesterday, there was an announcement of the election results. The officials of the ANC in Mpumalanga have been elected. The talking point being the provincial treasurer Mandla Msibi, who is murder accused, of course innocent for now until proven otherwise by a court of law. That has brought into sharp, focus the issue of the ANC step-aside rule. As I see here, the provincial chairperson Mandla Msibi has just walked in. There are other NEC members that are deployed here. One of those NEC members is Dr. Gwen Ramakupa. She is the convener of NEC deployees here in Mpumalanga. Doc, thank you very much for your time. Last day today, what can we expect in terms of your program? Let's start with the election of the extended provincial executive committee members. When are you announcing those results?
Good morning, Siphamandla, and good morning to viewers and listeners, and also those that are on social media, because you also use the social media platforms. Indeed, this is our last day of what I would consider is a very successful provincial conference of Mpumalanga. We have been here since the first, and the conference was opened by the Treasurer General of the African National Congress, and it's going to be honored and closed by our President, President Cyril Ramaphosa. But the most important people have been delegates. Delegates have been very disciplined. Delegates attended the plenaries, they attended their various commissions, and now we are having a report from commissions, and at the background the electoral committee also is busy doing the counting for the additional PEC members. So it's all systems go, and we really also want to thank the media for covering the conference, and we are all set to ensure that this new leadership that is going to be elected continues the unity and renewal program of the African National Congress in this province of Mpumalanga, and to serve our people better.
Yesterday, you and your fellow NEC member, Nathi Mthethwa, spent a considerable amount of time explaining the issue of murder-accused Mandla Msibi, the provincial treasurer. You say now that he's been elected, of course, there is an expectation that he has to follow the step-aside policy of the ANC. Previously, he has stepped aside. Yesterday, my colleague Lindo Kuhlekulu interviewed him, and he said he would be engaging with national leadership following the latest developments now that he has been elected provincial treasurer. What will happen moving forward?
Most definitely, the 54th National Conference was very clear, and it is the highest decision-making body that all of us must make sure that we improve the integrity and we improve the trust that the people have on the African National Congress. And that is how the constitutional amendments on the step-aside clause was added. It applies to everyone all the time, and we intervened as the NEC and reminded this provincial conference that they are also subject to that decision of national, and that and therefore Comrade Mandla Msibi is not able to assume that position. So his stepping aside is still applicable.
What message does it send out there that delegates of the ANC can nominate and elect someone who is charged? Let's be frank, he is innocent as we speak. But what message are you sending when you elect people who are charged? It happened in KwaZulu-Natal, Emalahleni region in Newcastle. The regional chairperson, Dr. Ntutuko Mahlaba, was elected, not at the conference. Mandla Msibi didn't attend the conference. Your renewal project and the image that you are trying to paint of cleaning the ANC, we are not saying those who are charged are guilty, but surely it doesn't augur well for what we are trying to do.
Well, it means that we still need to do a lot of work in our branches in particular, because these are nominations from branches. But you'd also realize that branches have interfaced with these leaders in a different context through political programs and organizationally. Perhaps that was foremost in their nomination of these comrades. However, when we intervened as the NEC at this conference, these delegates were concurring with us. None of them raised any concern. Actually, we could also see them affirming that that should be the case. But yes, our program of renewal is not an overnight process, and that is why at the plenary we also had political education programs, we had organizational presentations, and the discussions were vibrant. So we want to appreciate that this provincial conference also was concurring with the intervention by the NEC.
On women empowerment and also trying to push hard for 50-50 representation, it doesn't look good that only Lindiwe Njali is part of the top 5 leadership of the ANC in Mpumalanga. That means you need to do a lot of work in terms of gender balance.
We have a lot of work to do, not only as the African National Congress, but as society. The role and the position of women in society, all of us must make sure that we improve it. But also the issue of youth, as we invest in the largest population group, it's young people in our country. Yes, we need to make sure that it's not just a 50-50 throughout the full complement of the PEC, because that is constitutional. The full PEC team has to ensure that there are 50% of women. But usually the top leadership, it's a struggle. You can see it is the same also at national level.
You are not winning that struggle.
Yeah, I think we must acknowledge that we had hoped to be further with that struggle by now, and many of us are actually saying that we must lead from the front, and meaning that going to the 55th conference, we may need to include a clause that says 50-50 throughout the components of the NEC. We hope that we will not have to do that.
Some people say you are likely to contest for the position of the Secretary General in the upcoming conference of the ANC in December. Would you accept nomination should you be nominated?
We have not as yet opened up any discussions around that, but what we've done, we've asked Nate Mutlante with his team to come up with the guidelines, and in the last NEC we did have that bit. Please wait.
They also say you are President Cyril Ramaphosa's enforcer who's been deployed to Lutuli House to take over.
Well, I've supported all the presidents, from President Owar Tambo before we were in government, President Nelson Mandela when we were in government, all of the presidents. And this president I will also support. When there are issues, we always raise them. And I think we need to be organizational. We have one president now under whom we serve, and we'll do everything to support him to succeed.
They say you were pushed to capture the office of the Secretary General at Lutuli House, a hostile takeover by President Ramaphosa.
I have no such powers to capture anything, but I'm just the servant of my movement to assist, whilst especially now when Comrade Jesse Duat, our DSG, is not well. But I'm glad we did visit her with the TG, and she's getting stronger. So any moment when she is well, she will assume full responsibility. So we're just there to assist in the meantime.
I know you have to go and continue with the president there, but let's talk about the most important mission of this conference and this leadership that has been elected here to unify Mpumalanga, which has been plagued by deep divisions, disunity. They are disgruntled members who took the organization to court. How crucial is it to bring everyone on board to ensure that there is unity in Mpumalanga?
My first point that I want to make is that I'm really comfortable when any member of society goes to the courts, because this is part of our democratic system. What is said is when our members feel the internal system are not serving them well. So the first point is to make sure that our systems serve members and branches diligently all the time. And that is why even in this case, it has been proven that we were rigorous in making sure that any dispute, any appeal that has been processed, indeed it receives the attention. And that is why the ANC was not found guilty, and that's why the conference was allowed to continue uninterrupted. So we encourage our members to use our systems internally as we're committed to really make sure that they serve them.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr.
Thank you, Samkelo, and have a good day.
Thank you. That is Dr. Gwen Ramakgopa, who is a convener of NEC deployees in Mpumalanga. She has to go back now and continue to have that discussion with the President of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, who is going to address this Mpumalanga ANC conference this afternoon.